Hey guys, how's it going? Azrak Collections here, and today I'm really excited to bring you the Mezco exclusive Mezco 112 Collective Nightmare Batman from Batman vs Superman. Alright, so first off, let's have a look at the box. So the box is a little bit different from what you usually get for the 112 Collective. This box for the Nightmare Batman is a little bit smaller. I'm not sure why they chose to do that, but it is a little bit smaller. I just wanted to point that out. Also, it's got the gold sticker here, which means that it's a Mezco exclusive. I think Mezco exclusive means that you can only buy it on the Mezco website, but I'm not entirely sure. I think that's what it means. But yeah, it was a pretty limited figure. There's a whole debacle that happened behind it. So it was initially displayed during the toy fair in 2016, and then later on, for some reason, the figure got cancelled, and then there was a lot of backlash. People really wanted the figure, so Mezco had to revive the figure, and that's why we finally had the figure. And yeah, it took me quite a while to track this down. Actually, all the credit goes to my brother. My brother scanned the internet for quite a couple of days, and then he found a Facebook group where people were selling action figures, and then he found someone who was willing to sell their Nightmare Batman figure, and then that's how we finally got a hold of him. And all the credit goes to my brother. So if we look at the front of the box here, it just looks really clean. There's like a very weird deserty kind of look going on. So the color here kind of looks like a desert kind of color. The Batman vs Superman logo in the middle really pops. And there's Batman v Superman TM written at the bottom there, right underneath the logo. Nightmare Batman down here. And then the really cool DC logo at the bottom right. And Mezco 112 Collective here. So looking at the box from the side, that's what you get. It's basically just the Batman vs Superman logo. At the back here, a little cool imagery of Batman in the desert. This is probably from the Apocalypse Nightmare dream that he had, so that's pretty cool. And on the other end, it's just the same as the other side that we had a look at before. On the top, it says Mezco 112 Collect, Pose, Play, Display, which is pretty cool. And on the bottom, it just has all the technical stuff. Alright, so here we have Nightmare Batman out of the packaging, and he looks like a phenomenal figure straight out of the box. I'm just really in love with the details on him, and there's just so much cool sculpting. The fabric work looks really awesome. And just the other day, we were actually talking about our Grail figures on a Facebook chat. So we were talking about Grail figures, and my friend Nepali Collector, that's his Instagram handle. If you want to follow him on Instagram, please just check Nepali Collector. I'll leave his Instagram down in the description below. But yeah, he said that this was his Grail figure because of how the cloth goods work on this scale figure. And yeah, I definitely agree with you, man. Like, this is an awesome figure. The cloth goods work really well on him. It's just done really well. There's just so much detail going into it. You can look at the arms. There's just realistic folds going on. And the coat looks so imposing. The Batman looks so imposing. He's got a screaming head on, like that's the head where he goes into van, and then his team betrays him, and then Superman's army actually start killing his other team members outside, which causes this whole conflict, and then the one take fight scene, which is really epic in the movie. But yeah, that screaming head is really awesome. I think that's the first for Mezco. We do get other heads with this figure as well, but I'll go into that later. But those heads are more, I think one of the heads we've already seen with the regular Batman release from Mezco. So yeah, I'll just compare that later on. But yeah, I think this figure absolutely is there in terms of just the presence and just the look of it. Alright, so let's have a closer look at Batman. So this is what his head sculpt looks like up close. So there's a lot of details there. You can see that his eye underneath does look like it's like skin underneath the mask, so that's pretty cool. His eyes have that glimmer, so it looks pretty darn awesome. The cowl has etched lines that give it like a lot of emotion. If you look here, yeah, that looks pretty cool. So there's a lot of emotion in his cowl as well. It looks like he's always angry, like, that looks pretty cool. The cowl does have a little bit of dirtying up as well, so there's a little bit of a grainy kind of sandy texture to it. And let's look at his shirt underneath. So the fabric looks awesome, and it looks like his chest symbol has bullet holes as well. The scarf is done pretty well. The fabric cloth here, or the fabric suit underneath, does look like it's very similar to the BvS release, but yeah, they probably use the same one. But I think the chest emblem has more bullet holes, which I don't think the normal release had. Yeah, the trousers look pretty cool. They've got the rubbery pieces, knee pads on as well. They've got the stitched on pockets on the sides, And the holster is actually like a whole block of plastic. So this here is plastic as well, and the whole holster is plastic, but this fabric that's holding it together is actually fabric. So that's pretty cool. Oh, the boots are pretty cool, and they've got a cool detail here where it looks very desert worn and very sandy. It's pretty awesome. And let's look at the coat. Wow, yeah, the coat is really well stitched, but it's Mezco, so yeah, they always do really good stitched clothing anyway. So yeah, I think the only gripe that I have with the coat is that it's probably not as screen accurate as it could be, but yeah, I think it still looks pretty cool. And the gauntlets here, they've got the wrap, which is pretty cool. He's got wraps on his hands as well, which is awesome. Yeah, so overall, it looks like a really awesome figure, and I'm already liking it so much. So in terms of head sculpts and accessories for the head, we've got a secondary Batman head, which looks pretty cool. I'll just zoom into that. So that looks pretty cool. He's got so much detail, but I think this is a reused sculpt from the regular Batman release. I'll just have to confirm that, but yeah, that looks pretty cool. Yeah, so much details. The permanent scowl on his mask etched on is pretty cool, and that's what the inside looks like, and that's how it plugs into the head or the body. But yeah, that's what it looks like. It's pretty cool. Next up, we have the Bruce Wayne likeness, or the Bruce Wayne head. So the likeness isn't 100% there, but yeah, there are some Ben Affleck features that do shine through. So in some angles, this looks very much like Ben Affleck, but yeah, at times it doesn't really look like Ben Affleck too. So yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag. So I'm kind of 50-50 on this one. I don't think it's 100% like Ben Affleck, but I can still see a little bit of Ben in there. So yeah, it's all right. And for the accessories for the head, we do have the desert goggles. So those are done really well. There's a lot of details. Look at that sand kind of effect around the goggles. So that's pretty cool. The strap is all plastic, so I think you can probably get it to stay on the helmet, but yeah, it might scratch the helmet a little bit because it's hard plastic. It's not any soft kind of material. So I'd be careful if I was you. So yep, that's all we get for the head and its accessories. So in terms of other accessories, we do get the Batman machine gun kind of gun. So that's what it looks like. I'm not sure what kind of gun this is. I'm not a gun person, so yeah, excuse me if I'm saying it wrong. But yeah, he's got a pretty cool rifle kind of gun, which is awesome. Lots of details, lots of sculpting going on everywhere. Yeah, there's a lot of details on this one. That's pretty cool. So there's a scarf that's holding the front piece, and then at the back here we can see the Joker card duct taped onto the gun. And yeah, you can also take the magazine clip out, which is pretty cool, and you got the top bullet painted as well. Yeah, I think the only thing missing is the strap that Ben Affleck has when he's wearing the suit, that holds the gun, to his body, and he doesn't have to carry it around everywhere. But yeah, that's the only thing that's missing. Other than that, we also do have his pistol kind of gun, which is smaller, but this doesn't have any removable pieces, but there is still cool details, so there's a lot of sculpting going on. And it's got a little bit of painting as well, so that's silver painted here, and then a little bit of brushing going on, and the hilt is painted with a wood kind of texture, which is cool. And last but not least, we've got this bullet effect. So you see the bullet coming out here, and that's the muzzle flare, which is pretty cool. And then you can stick it into either gun. So I'm doing it on camera, so it's a little bit difficult, but yeah, you can stick it into this gun. You can push it all the way in, and then that's what it looks like. And you can also put it on the pistol, which you can push it all the way in. I'm doing it on camera, sorry guys. Yeah, you can push it all the way in, so that's what it looks like. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so this figure also comes with 2 fist hands that are already on the body here, and also 3 additional hands. So first off, we've got so this is the left hand. It's kind of a gripping kind of hand. Sorry, I'll just focus into that. Yeah, that's probably to hold this machine gun like that. So you put the gun here, and then you hold it like that, which is pretty cool. And it's got a lot of details. It's got the wrap going all the way around. There's not much gold detail on his knuckles, but yeah, I'm not sure if that's movie accurate or not, but yeah. And the inside has a little bit of sculpting to it as well, so that's pretty cool. Next up, we've got this kind of gesturing kind of hand. I'm not sure what you would use this for. You could probably use this for, like maybe give him a bike or something, and then you could put him on a bike, and then it's reaching out for the brakes. I'm not sure, but yeah. I'm not sure what else you would use it for, but yeah, it's just some kind of gesturing hand, which is pretty cool. And it's got all the details here as well, so you can see sculpting work going on in the inside. And you've got the knuckles. I think these knuckles are a little bit more painted. And you've got the wrap going all the way around as well. And next up, we've got the gun holding hand, so it's the trigger hand, trigger finger hand. Yeah, it's got good details. It's got a little bit of gold on the knuckles as well. The wrap's going all the way around, and there's good details inside. So those are all the hands that you get with this figure. And like all other Mezco figures, this figure also comes with a base, a stand, and a baggie. So you can put all the accessories in the baggie, and the stand just works like a Mezco stand. Alright, so here we have Knightmare Batman next to a few other DCEU Batman figures. On the extreme left here, we've got the Mafex Armored Batman figure from BvS. Right next to him, we've got the Mafex regular release BvS Batman figure. On the right here, we've got the Tactical Suit Batman from Justice League. And on the extreme right here, we've got the Mezco. This is the knockoff version, Armored Batman from AliExpress, which is also from BvS. Alright, so next up we've got the Sovereign Knight Batman on the extreme left there. Next to him we've got the Mezco Ascending Knight Batman. Both of them have custom tights that I made. Right next to the Knightmare Batman we've got the BvS Batman KO version, and like I was mentioning earlier, so it is the same head sculpt, I think just painted a little bit different. So this is from Knightmare Batman, and the head there is the alternate head that came with the BvS normal Batman. And at the end there, we've got the Bale Batman Dark Knight 3.0 from Mafex. Alright, so next up we've got a few Superman action figures that we want to compare Knightmare Batman with. On the extreme left here, we've got the Henry Cavill Mezco knockoff Superman. Right next to him, we've got a custom Superman from... so it's a custom Superman, the suit and the trunks and everything else I hand stitched. And the body underneath is a Marvel Legends Gladiator body. So yeah, that looks pretty, I think scales pretty well. That Superman is pretty monstrous, so he does look a little bit bigger, but I think that kind of works. On the right there, we've got the Mezco Superman turned into a classic version of Superman with the Ultraman head. And on the extreme right there, we've got the Kingdom Come Superman from Mattel Multiverse. So I think he scales pretty okay with all of them. So next up, we've got the Mafex Cyborg on the extreme left. Right next to him, we've got the Black Panther from Marvel Legends. Right next to Batman, we've got the Flash from SH Figuarts from Justice League. And on the extreme right there, we've got Big Barda from DCUC. I think Batman scales okay with most of them. I think Big Barda needs to be bigger, but that's not Batman's fault. So he scales pretty well with all of them. So next up, we've got Brock Lesnar from WWE Ultimates on the left. We've got the two Mattel basic Parademons right next to Batman. And the DC Comics 1000 version of Batman from McFarlane. I think the McFarlane and the WWE figures are a little bit too tall for Batman, but the WWE figure you might be able to use it as like a thug or something like that. And the Mattel basic Parademons are a little bit too small, but then you can always get them to work in terms of perspective and force the angle a little bit. But yeah, I think the Parademons are alright, but definitely does not scale well with McFarlane toys. Next, we've got the DC Essentials Red Hood on the left and the DC Direct Deathstroke on the right. And I think both of these figures are too tall for Batman, so these scales do not work. Alright, so next up, this is the only Knightmare Batman comparison that I can do because this is the only other Knightmare Batman figure that I have. So this is the Hot Toys Knightmare Batman figure, and obviously they're not going to be in the same kind of scale, but I just want to point out a few differences. So the material used by Hot Toys definitely on the suit is a lot better, more high quality, and the face sculpt has more details, but I think the Mezco one holds its own in terms of scale, and you know, like for this scale, it's just got a lot of good details and it's done really well. So the coat on the Knightmare Batman Hot Toys has more details, so there's more, as you can see, there's more like panels, and the construction is a little bit better, but then it's a bigger scale, so you've got to worry less about the fabric not being in scale, so that works a little bit more. And the hand wraps and all of that detail is done better on the Hot Toys version, but you know, being the Mezco version being smaller, there's less you can cram into it. So I think that in terms of both of these figures, they're the best in their respective sizes. So, and I'm absolutely very lucky that I have both of these. Alright, so last but not least, before wrapping up this video, I did want to mention that I did get additional accessories for this Batman figure. So I got the 1/6 kit Batman Knightmare Batman coat, which I think is more accurate to the movie, and you know, the length is better as well. There's the frayed bits on the bottom here. The buttons are pretty cool. Yeah, it's just a thinner kind of fabric, just really awesome. But I didn't have the heart to pull out the suit that's already on there and then replace it with this. So I've kind of chickened out. So I'm not sure if I'm actually gonna transfer this over, but what I'm planning to do is I've got a few other KO figures for the BvS Batman. So I might use the coat on that figure and then just make it work. Just something else that did come with the coat is a pair of binoculars, which is pretty cool. And it's not much detail, but you know, there's not much detail on it, but it's a good accessory for this guy. So if you're considering getting binoculars, maybe that's one way to do it. But then yeah, I don't have the heart to put the coat on him. So in conclusion, I think that this is an absolutely amazing figure. Just the details on it and everything, all the accessories that it comes with. It's got so much heart. It just looks really accurate to the movie. It's amazing. The coat could be a little bit better, and I did get a replacement. I just don't have the heart to take the coat off on this guy and then put the other one on. But I think, yeah, that would probably take it up a notch. But yeah, I'll see how I go with my customs. But yeah, this is a really good figure, and I would recommend, if you find it, definitely do buy him. This being a grail figure for me, I am really happy, and I consider myself really lucky to be in possession of him. And I want to thank my brother who sourced it for me, and also the seller who shipped it all the way from the USA. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you liked my content, please leave a like below. If you have any questions or queries, please leave a comment below. And if you want more of my content, please subscribe to the channel. That will definitely help the channel grow as well. I've also added links to my Instagram and my Facebook in the description box below, and you can also find a link to Nepali Collector in the description box below. And I hope you enjoyed this content.